Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and it is later in the day and Jeff and I are out here and we are going to do an October backyard garden tour. Okay, so we did a front yard tour last week and we are getting towards in October, and it's been pretty warm, and so we waited till later in the evening to kind of get out here and show you all what's going on in the backyard. Truthfully, everything is in shade right now because we have a lot of clouds because we are expecting rain later this week. But let me go ahead and get you guys started with this particular area. Okay, so the urns are doing great. This one is doing awesome. This one, not so much. For those of you who haven't followed along with the latest videos, we found out that we did not have enough water pressure in the drip lines to get irrigation up to this urn. I have since fixed that, which is really, really great. So this one, while it doesn't look as good, it is doing a little bit better. But this guy over here is just doing spectacular. These petunias, and these are double cascade burgundy petunias that I grew from seed that are coming down. And then we have a wide variety of pansies and violas that I also grew from seed that are looking beautiful as well. Coleus that I grew from seed. Look at that mint chocolate chip coleus mixed with these colors. Really, really pretty. Now the larger ornamental kales I did purchase, but this guy is looking really, really good from multiple angles. I do have some silk and dried elements tucked in there, so that's kind of what you're seeing along these lines and such, but it's looking really nice. Look at these. These are double, these are blue double cascade petunias that I grew from seed as well. And you can see how ruffled their blooms are. We're growing these again this next year. But looking really good, especially with all the moss. Is looking really, really nice, but very pleased with how these went. I am going to be changing these up for the winter, and we are going to be focusing mainly on silk in these particular arrangements. Okay, so in front of me is my Snapdragon bed. These Snapdragons I started back in July in order to be able to plant them out now in the fall and then overwinter them for early spring blooms. The armadillos have been stealing my peace, people. They have been digging up, they dug up a portion of the bed over here, which is a little not looking great. I went and applied a whole bunch of cayenne pepper yesterday at several of y'all's suggestions. So I'm really hoping that that discourages them because they do not like to sniff in or breathe in that scent. And we use 2 massive bottles on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds. So that's 2.5 beds per bottle, massive bottles. So I'm really hoping that that helps a lot, keeping them out. More than 2/3 of the bed is still in good shape. It's just this one section, and I tried to go back and replant the plants. They look okay. I am thinking I'm probably going to have to start some more Snapdragons coming this winter. Now this section right here is where all of my delphiniums were, and they dug up all of this portion of the bed. So the delphiniums that you see left in here, and now this is not a delphinium, that's a dahlia coming back from tubers. These little ones are delphiniums. The delphiniums you see in here, left in here, I actually happened to walk out in the morning after they had dug it up. So I went ahead and replanted them, buried them back in. They're not looking super great either. So I think I'm gonna have to restart delphiniums as well this winter, but I'll take you guys through that process. Back here, we have some beautiful, it looks like they dug one of them up over here. We have some Chinese forget-me-nots that are starting to come up. And this is what they do. They just dig up the whole little plant like that. And they're basically looking for earthworms is what they're searching for. And my beds are filled with earthworms. And I need to remember to just put my hands in that soil that has cayenne pepper all over it. So let's not, don't rub. But that's what they're looking for. And my beds are in really, really good shape, and I have lots and lots of earthworms. One of you guys recently suggested, hold on just a second. I just realized we have an issue right here. Yes, it's super wet right here because this whole pipe busted open. and it looks like this broke it. Okay, I gotta make a fix real quick. Hold up. So I just got a figure 8 that I'm running in here to help secure this. Get it down, and then you just fold it over and then run it back up, and that will hold it. All right, so that explains why these beds feel a little bit dry. So we'll actually probably pop on the drip lines and run it. But anyway, so I will have to restart some seedlings this winter, including delphinium and a few Snapdragon, which will be easy and fun. Now this bed has a lot of perennials in it, including Veronica, which is looking really nice over here, some Rudbeckia, some Fama scabiosa, some Snapdragons. These are some of the zinnias that are left over, and you can see that they are suffering from powdery mildew. It's definitely the end of the season for them, and basically at this point I'm not really harvesting zinnias anymore. I'm just going to let them go to seed, so hopefully just drop their seeds in here, which will look really good. There's not a lot going on in this bed that's pretty right now. It basically is just stuff that's getting ready to overwinter. But I really look forward to some of these Rudbeckia in the spring. Now let me get Jeff to shift around. Okay, so the willow tree, we've done a ton of work. Removed a lot of branches, a lot of bigger branches, thinned it out, a lot more sun coming through, and I just wanted to show you all how massive this space is right here. And eventually the goal is for all of this to be a shade garden back here. I don't think that's going to happen this year, but maybe the year after that would be great. No grass back here. Buffy will be fine. Everybody's asked about my puppy dogs. Well, aren't you afraid that they won't have grass? They don't care. They poop on my patio and on the mulch. What they really care about is just having space to spread out, look, and explore, and they certainly do that in this garden. So it's going to be really, really fun to enjoy this space with it kind of risen up. Really want to look at some kind of bench to go around the bottom of this tree. I was looking at pre-purchasing some, but I don't think that's going to work because of the uneven ground. I think that what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to build my own custom bench. So that might be a fun project in the next couple of years. Okay, so these are my cantaloupe vines growing over the top, doing really good. I believe I have some that are ready for harvest. Oh yeah, actually it just fell right off the vine, and that's what you want. You're looking for it to just fall right off. Smells like cantaloupe. That's also what I've heard, is that when it's a good time to harvest your cantaloupe is when you can smell it. So it smells really, really good. Here's another one. Yep, this one's ready too. Oh, yay. These are honey rock varieties of cantaloupe, so that'll be really fun. They still feel pretty hard. That'll be interesting. We'll have to check those out, see how they're doing. I don't see any that have turned this color. Everything else is mainly about this green color. But that's really exciting. Yay, we got cantaloupe. Okay, so anyway, cantaloupe vines are looking really good. Really enjoyed this arch. Had some damage of some rodents and such, like chewing on the stuff, that they kind of gotten over it. Once the fruits got bigger and more mature, they stopped. They really kind of munched on them when they were younger and smaller. This arch is looking really good. I don't know if I'm going to grow cantaloupe on this arch again next year. I might grow it in a different location, but I really did love growing a vine here. Now, I'll get Jeff just to take a sneak peek this direction. My garden's really kind of going to bed right now. So I have sunflowers and zinnias that I'm allowing just to go to seed and reseed themselves in the space. Same thing with basil. My basil is starting to get brown spots on it, which typically happens when our weather gets a little bit cooler. And we will allow it to go to seed, which will be good. My juniper that I got over here is looking pretty good, but it looks like I have some Dara growing up in it, and we don't want that. That is a massive flower that will basically suffocate everything in this pot. So we'll give this a nice little pull. But that is something that's happening, is all of my Dara is starting to sprout, and that's all this right here. It's like wild, looks like wild carrots. It's all starting to sprout, and it will overwinter and give me blooms in late winter, early spring, which will be absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so with this bed, once again, we're just allowing the zinnias that are still here to go to seed. I'm not harvesting anything anymore. I probably will still harvest some basil, but most of this basil, I'm just once again allowing it to go to seed. Would like for it to grow in the same location again. I chopped on this basil a lot this season, and it did really, really well. It seemed like the more I cut, the more it produced, which is really awesome. This direction is, this area is where we had a whole bunch of calla lilies, which have all gone dormant at this point. And we do have the Don Juan climbing rose, which we recently thinned out some, which is looking really nice. And I'm really happy with this right here. This is a Jackmani clematis vine that I started from bare root, and it has grown beautifully. And the goal for it is to climb up through the Don Juan rose, so I'll have purple blooms and red blooms at the same time. We do have some heirloom chrysanthemums over here that are starting to put on their buds. It looks like they're suffering from a little bit of spider mites, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. And then this is my solidago, fireworks solidago, and it is finished for the season, so I'm just allowing it to chill. It's a pretty good chance that I'm moving this particular bush to the back because it is pretty large, and I want to put some other heirloom chrysanthemums and some other cut flowers here. And since this is larger and more splashy, I'd like to put it towards the back, but it's real pretty. Oh, here we got a Don Juan rose here. Really pretty. Because I did some late pruning on this, I don't have a ton of roses for late fall here. Okay, if you remember, this bed and this trellis were not here at the beginning of the year, and then the additional bed over there. These are looking really nice. I have a wide variety of plants. This ended up being the happy place for the vinca. Those of you who follow my story know that I struggled with vinca in other areas. I was very happy in these beds, and I do hope to put lots of vinca in here for next year because I really just like this soft kind of like cottagey feel where it fills in with all this color, takes tons of heat all day and does really great. Have a few more. This is a cestrum. I think it's a cestrum. I might have that wrong. A cestrum bush in here. The goal is for it to grow up larger and become more tree-like over time. I got a few other things like sedum in here and some salvia. I got some lots of perennials in here that I'll be trimming back once our first couple of frosts come through. And then of course the awesome trellis, which is filled with Luffa and birdhouse gourd. So let me change my angle a little bit so you guys can see more of that. Okay, so we've got all of our loofahs growing up here. They're in varying states. Some are very green, some are in between, you know, kind of letting go. And then, I don't know if Jeff can see back here, I definitely have some that are older and more dry right here. They're all brown, so we need to start harvesting some of those. And these are filled with seeds, which is very cool. And then if you swing to your left, sweetie, here's one of the birdhouse gourds. And we've got, I probably have a dozen of these, and I'm going to allow them to dry on the vine, and we're going to be utilizing them in my fall arrangements and fall containers next year. I think it'll be really fun. I really want them to just dry on the vine and become like a beautiful like brown tone, and then be able to utilize them in some arrangements. The loofahs will be harvesting and using the loofah sponges. These have been so fun to grow. If you want something fun to grow, it was pretty easy. You need a lot of space for it, so this trellis worked great. These have been so whimsical and so fun. I've just really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to grow them again next year. Okay, so we're on the other side of the trellis, and this is the matching bed to over there. Now they have similar plants, but not similar setups. In here is actually where I started a, I cannot remember the name. I cannot like recall the name of a particular plant that I put right here that I'm really excited to grow. I'll drop it down below. It went dormant for the summer, so we're hoping it comes back next year. Got some salvias in here. Obviously, the vincas did really, really well. I've got some eucalyptus that I'm hoping will overwinter as well. And then, of course, lots of the gourds and loofahs going up, which is looking really, really nice. Now, I'm going to get Jeff to come around to the back porch. He can stay there for right this second and just get this angle. But remember, we did a clean out of all of the containers, added in compost, adjusted all the drip irrigation in them, and really just got these prepped because these are filled with daffodil bulbs that I'm hoping will come back. We'll see. Some of them did come up in the spring, but I had waited so long to plant them, I just didn't really get much. I'm not sure if they've rotted in the containers or what. We'll see. If they don't come back in the spring, lesson learned, and we'll make some changes. And I'll probably, once again, I'll try to fill these with daffodil bulbs because I would really just like a beautiful display of daffodils in early spring. And I have the same exact same matching on the other side. Not exactly matching, but mostly terracotta pots with the same setup for drip irrigation. Okay, so this bed right here, I recently planted up with my ranunculus corms, and you can see lots of them coming up. The armadillo did start to mess around in this bed, but stopped. It did just a very little, like almost a test area, and changed its mind. And if you recall, when I started planting these ranunculus, we discovered that this bed was not getting enough water, and that when I was digging in the soil, I was not seeing any worms, which is very unusual for my property. So I think that the armadillo came over, he didn't see anything good, and so he headed out, which lucky me, but as soon as I realized he was messing with my ranunculus corms, I was like not having it. So there's tons of cayenne pepper on here. I will have to reapply the cayenne pepper, but basically when they come sniffing and digging over here, it's going to get a big whiff of the cayenne pepper up their nose, and hopefully they won't come. They'll leave. And once they keep leaving, if I get them a couple of times in a row, the internet says that they'll go somewhere else. The reason they keep coming back here is because they have a really great source of food. Once they figure out that they can't get what they want here, or that the scent is not what they want, they will leave. So let's hope for it. Now this bed right here, and you can actually see a little bit of the armadillo digging in different places, but they didn't mess around too much with this. These are some of the holes and such like that. And there's one more bed we're going to look at that is like that too. But basically, this is all Lisianthus that I grew from seed, which I'm so stinking excited. Just got to keep these darn armadillo out of the way. If this comes to fruition next year, y'all, oh my gosh, I'm going to have so many beautiful, beautiful Lisianthus to really, really enjoy. And you can see it's trying to put off blooms right now. It probably won't actually end up blooming. It's very cool. It's too cool for a Lisianthus. Lisianthus really like it hot. They bloom like into June, into July, which is a great time of the year when I don't have a ton blooming at that point in time. But this bed is looking very nice despite the freaking armadillos. Now, you can actually see how much the armadillos have ravished this particular bed. I actually came and reburied some of these zinnias. I'm really just trying to get these zinnias to go to seed in this bed. That's what I really want. But you can see where they pulled stuff up. They pull up the lines. They really wreak a lot of damage. And so once again, this bed has been doused quite significantly with cayenne pepper. Okay, we are over here on the heirloom chrysanthemum bed, which is really coming to fruition. Over here, the kind of yellowish creamy ones, those are my French vanilla chrysanthemums. Back over here, this is Ticonderoga. We've got some cheerleader, fall charm, which was one of my favorite ones. I mean, we're just really coming to fruition over here, which is really exciting. There will probably be 200 plus stems in this bed, which is so exciting. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I love chrysanthemums. They are blooming when I don't really have much of anything else blooming in my bed, which is awesome. And I got started on heirloom chrysanthemums when I failed repeatedly with dahlias. I wanted a different option. Heirloom chrysanthemums have been a very cost-effective option for me, and I recently did a video on how to take cuttings from them and root the cuttings, and they're doing really, really nice. So it's gonna be fun. Eventually, I hope to have heirloom chrysanthemums across my entire garden. I'd like to have them tucked into all different kinds of places because I love that when they come this late fall, that's when I start to get all of the blooms, and it's a time, like I said, where I don't really have much going. Okay, and then I did want to touch on, this is my Meyer lemon tree. I had a few fruits that got attacked by something took them. And I'm literally down to like 4 lemons at this point, but they're soft, so I think they're ready to be harvested actually. Maybe I'll do that in another video, but they're feeling pretty good. Got 4 left, excited to enjoy them. This has been really fun to grow. Something's been munching on it as of late. Really fun to grow, really enjoyed it, and I will try to overwinter this, and I'll do a whole video on the plants that I'm overwintering. Okay, we're losing light, so we're gonna move quickly. Here we are at the entrance of the shade garden. This is where I recently stained it, which I think is really beautiful and soft. And then I installed crystals, hanging crystals on all of them, and they've just done beautifully. Really, really excited about them. We can't wait to see these through the next year. But let me get Jeff to come on into the shade garden. Now it's going to be darker in here, obviously. Buffy's coming too. I did want to show off my Japanese anemones. These are called Jasmine Fantasy, Japanese anemones. They are perennial in my area. They spread like crazy. They make for excellent cut flowers, and they love themselves some shades. I've never had blooms of this quality. I actually moved these from the front yard, and they're very happy in these pots and containers, and I think they're going to be really fun over the years to just have them spill out everywhere. Over here to the left, we really actually have a lot of stuff going dormant at this point. We have some of my clematis going dormant. These are cyan tulips going dormant. My heucheras actually suffered with the heat, so some of them are just gone. But then I am starting to see life coming back in some of my hellebores that had been dormant. They're starting to put off some more leaf growth, so that growth, which is exciting. This is an oak leaf hydrangea, which I hope to eventually train to go up and create more of a canopy format, which I think would be nice. Now back here is kind of bonkers. This one plant, I planted a Swedish ivy back here, and it lost its ever-loving mind. It is so happy and has spread everywhere, doing really, really good. I'm gonna take some cuttings because it will not survive my winter. I'd like to take some cuttings and have it for next year because I really like how it draped and filled in this space. And I think that that's a really good look, really nice lush look for my shade garden. It also thrived in the heat of the summer. It looked really, really good. We also have this particular one, which is a leopard plant, looking really nice up here. It's been very, very happy. You can't, I mean, this stuff has grown so wild, it's covering all my statues and such as well. I do have a little bit of a variegated fig, creeping fig up here, which is pretty. I'm really hoping that it thrives, makes it over the winter. Now, back over here was my newest addition. This is my Japanese maple that I installed here. It's doing really well in its new location. It seems to be very, very happy. Sorry, I'm just looking at stuff as I'm making sure everything looks good. I have it set up to drip. It's doing great. These are my aged hydrangea blooms, which are doing really, really nice. I actually probably need to come harvest them soon. I wanted them to dry out so that I could use them for some arrangements. These guys originally started as white. In the summer, they bloomed white, and then they have faded to this green with a little bit of burgundy accent to them, which is really pretty. I do have a video coming up where I'm going to talk about all the hydrangeas that I have on my property and talk to you about why I have them, where I have them, what I love about them, and what I don't love about them. All right, so this is one of the new areas that I created for container plantings, and I moved my contorted filbert over here, planted this up, covered it with lots of pansies and violas that I grew from seed. I also moved over my Julia Child rose with a custom made trellis over here, which is looking really good. And I'm going to have a collection of other containers here and on the other side of the garden, which is a big project in this next week, creating a very similar area nestled among beds on the other side, which is going to look good. Back here you have the burgundy wine, brandy wine maple, which is looking really pretty. It's starting to get color at the end of its leaves. It will turn a really pretty burgundy color and then it will drop its leaves, but it's looking really good at this time of year. There's another cantaloupe over here, but he looks like he's been being enjoyed by a lot of different things, so I'm just gonna chill, leave him here. I didn't get to him fast enough. So anyway, walking this direction, I have Luffa vines that have gone crazy. They've gotten mixed up with my clematis vines, which have actually put on a few last minute blooms, which I was really surprised. So here's my clematis over here, which are looking really, really pretty. But this vine has grown exponentially this last year. So it's going to be really fun to see it next year. We're getting to the end of the season for the lantanas. You know, I'm obsessed with my draping lantanas or cascading lantanas. This is a light purple variety. I love putting them on the front of these containers. And like I said, I start with tiny little starts on them. And by the end of the season, they look like this. We are going to be taking cuttings from this and seeing if we can create new plants so that we can plant, you know, we don't have to go buy plants. Take cuttings from this, hopefully overwinter them inside, and then replant them in the spring. Coming this direction, the beautyberry over here is looking okay. It's about to get a harsh cutback. I'm going to wait till my first freeze and I'm going to cut it back to about a foot above the ground to give it a nice fresh restart. We also have the Urban Legend Oh So Easy Rose, which has been beautiful. I haven't cut on it much this year, which I think has been beneficial, but it is just really filled out and softened. I mean, you can't even see the container over here. Okay, so the Oh So Easy Rose is right here. It's taking up a lot of space. I do like it. It could use a nice cutback, and I probably will get to that once winter sets in, give it a little bit of a cutback. We have a lot of birdhouse gourds up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I can see from this angle. They're looking nice. I see a clematis bloom tucked back in here as well. This variety is called Dr. Rupel, which is really, really pretty. It's nice to see some late season clematis blooms up in here. Just looking really good. Once again, the lantana. Now this area right here is where we removed a whole bunch. It's kind of blank slate and we have a bunch of just soil, which I'm sure Jeff is like, what is happening? But this is a project we're going to be working on as we continue to go throughout the fall and into the winter. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up because we're losing light. The backyard looks amazing. The transformation this year has been ridiculous, and I'm really, really happy with the whimsical quality. The height that we built this year has been really great in the garden, and it's only motivated me for more transformations in different areas. Typically, my garden does not look this good at this time of year. I've gotten better at choosing plants that do well through the heat of the summer. and then having them prepped and ready for fall, which has been really, really nice, and pretty proud of that. I will say we've had a really warm October and a very dry October. So that combination may have helped, like the warmth has probably helped keep a lot of plants around, but then on the other hand, with the drought, a lot of things have suffered because of it. But everything's looking good. I'm still really enjoying everything I'm doing in the garden. I still have lots of projects to work on, but like I also said, I'm also getting prepared for the spring. So I hope you guys will continue to follow along with me throughout this gardening journey as we wrap up 2024 and begin planning for 2025. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know you made it to the end and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener, or a decorator, or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.